walked in the house, he put 2 bullets in the guy's head.
Tommy Karate Pitera, a captain in the Bonanno crime family, is one of the most notorious and dangerous killers in the history of the American Mafia, with law enforcement alleging over 60 bodies left in his wake before his arrest and incarceration. Frank Gangi, who himself was born into a connected family, was part of Tommy Karate's crew for several years and as a result, saw things that would affect him for the rest of his life.
Yeah, I was living in a mafia-orientated family. You know, my dad got killed when I was 9 years old by this guy Shalus. He dumped my dad and his friend upstate New York. You know, I've got cousins that are captains in Bonanno family, the Genovese family. You know, I kind of grew up in Bensonhurst, a mafia-orientated neighborhood in Brooklyn. And I witnessed a lot of murders, a lot of crime. I mean, it's like a long story. You know, I always wanted to be a mafia guy when I grew up, you know. And then later on in life, when I was about 25, 26, I just got out of jail on a murder rap. And I met this guy, Tommy Pitera. And I went to him in hopes of getting a loan from him because I had just gotten out of jail for a murder rap that me and my partner Billy Bright had committed. We beat the trial. And then I went to his bar. It was called the Justice Lounge. It was on Avenue T in Brooklyn. And I walked in the bar, and I sat down. I didn't know who Tommy was. You know, I was going out with a girl who used to work for him, and she's the one who told me to go there. So I sat down at the bar. Anyway, make a long story short, they charged me $10 for a beer. They didn't want no strangers in that bar. So if you came in the bar and you were a stranger, they charged you $10, $15 for a shot of whiskey or something like that. You know, somebody mentioned Tommy's name, and I walked over to him and I said, "I'm Frank Gangi." I knew he would know my name. He said, "Why did you tell me? Come on, sit down, have a drink." And we started talking, and like the first thing that came out of his mouth was he heard about the murder that happened with me and Billy. He said, why don't you tell me about that? That would have took care of the problem for you. So I think he trusted me right away because he knew my family. He knew I just, you know, ain't nobody slipped on the murder case. Me, Billy, and Val. You know, ain't nobody told on anybody. And, no, I mean, because 2 months later, he was asking me to kill somebody with him. Yeah, I still have nightmares about it. You know, I don't sleep, and I didn't know he was that. I didn't know exactly what Tommy was into. You know, until I met him, until I started to get to know him. I didn't know he was being followed by the FBI, the ATS, the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office, the DEA. I walked in the bar. Tommy was there. He says, "Come on, come take a ride." You know, I thought I was just going for a cup of coffee. So I got in the car, and he turned the static on his radio. He was a very disciplined guy. And he talks like Mickey Mouse. He's got a very high-pitched voice, you know? Okay. And he said, I said, "Tommy, I ain't never did no shit like this before." I mean, we walked in the house. He put 2 bullets in the guy's head. The guy was handcuffed in a big suitcase. He was a real small guy. And he put 2 bullets in the back of his head. And then he said, "Come on, give me a hand." And we put him in the bathtub. I didn't know he was doing all of this. I had no clue what was going on. And he got mad at me. He said, "Take your clothes off," you know? After he said, "Take your fucking," I said, "Tommy, he's yelling at me. And I don't like to be yelled at. I don't care who he was, you know? I didn't know what you were doing, Tommy. I never did nothing like this before." He said, "All right, bring the car around." You know what I did? I stopped at the liquor store. But winds up the guy got killed for nothing. These people that set him up said he was a snitch. They told Tommy he was a rat, but he was banging this other guy's girlfriend. And he already passed the word around that nobody should give his girlfriend any drugs. It was clear to everybody in the neighborhood not to give her drugs. I had just got a new apartment, and I had Phyllis, Celeste, and this girl Michelle come over to clean my new apartment. Right? And I had a lot of coke and heroin and stuff in my safe in my house. And they asked me for some cocaine, you know. I said, "Well, I ain't giving, I said, "Today, Phyllis, you can have some. So I can't give you none, you know. But I'm not going to have no part of that." Make a long story short, later on that night, they left, they finished my, you know. I was by Moosa's house, my connection in New York. And I get a call there from this guy, Joey Pizza, who Tommy killed also. I get a call. He says, Frank, you got to come to New York. You got to come back to Brooklyn. I said, what's the matter? He said, Celeste is dead. I said, what? Why? What happened? He says, I can't talk over the phone. I didn't know whether to bring machine guns. I don't know if she got killed. I didn't know what happened, you know? So I go back to Brooklyn, and I see Joey, and he tells me that she's dead, she OD'd. So I went to Tommy's house. I knocked on the door. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. And he said, what the hell are you doing in my house 2 o'clock in the morning waking me up, you know? I said, I didn't have anything else to say. I said, Tommy, Celeste is dead, you know? And I went on to tell him, you know, what the information I knew and where she was at. Me and him took a ride to Phyllis's house, and we seen Celeste's body in the living room. I was in the living room, and then he called me over. You know, it was a loft in New York City, so it was a little long walk. And when he called me over, I thought he was going to kill me. I said, what's he calling me in the bedroom for? He wound up shooting her and dismembering her body. He had Phyllis's body all dismembered in the bathtub. You know, so I seen her head separated from her body, her legs cut off, and I mean, it destroys me. In a bird sanctuary in Staten Island, it was all marshland. You know, he buried it there because houses or nothing could be built there because the ground was all marsh. When I cooperated with the law, I told them who I knew that was buried there. They found an extra body, but the Environmental Protection Agency made them stop digging for some reason or another. You know, and I got a feeling if they would have kept digging, they would have found plenty more bodies. I know of about 15 in the short period of time that I knew him. And you never know. If you met him, if you met Tommy, you would never know he was that type of person. He didn't, you know, he didn't give off that type of personality. I mean, after all this started happening, I started drinking every day. You know, I had a ton of cocaine, you know. I was doing cocaine every day, you know. I had to get all this shit out of my memory, you know. I mean, it really started to get to me. You know, I wish I would have got hooked up with somebody other than Tommy Pitera. I mean, I wish I would have killed him instead of cooperating with the law. I just didn't want to be involved no more.